Hey, what are you doing? Are you helping me pack? These are a pair of women's leather Puma sneakers. They're like this leather quilted style. We got them at Goodwill a couple weeks ago, actually, and they were $3, and they sold for $60. This is a lovely wool tweed newsboy hat called Fox Hunter, made in Ireland, definitely vintage, sold in our new store for $40. This is a pair of men's Ralph Lauren tassel loafers, as you can see. They are made in China and they do not have leather soles, so they're a little bit cheaper than most. I sold them for $36. This is a lot of mohair blended wool, and we bought these. I think we overpaid for these. We bought them for $2 each, so I think we paid $15 for these, and they sold for $40. So that's all right, but if we had gotten them cheaper, that would have been better. I think we thought they would sell for a lot more, but they sold for $40. This is an LA Dodgers visor. Pretty cool. Sold for $20. These are vintage Jack Purcell Converse from the 70s, made in the USA. We found these around the same time as those vintage Nikes, which is kind of funny. And I put these up originally for $599, because some of them sell for really high, but those are the ones that are before Converse bought the name Jack Purcell. So, which I think was in the early 70s when they bought out the name. So these are Converse. We had them up for $599. We got a bunch of offers for $300. And then we said, okay, let's just put it on auction and see how high it gets. But nobody bid on them. And I had a starting price of $299, which is how much people had been offering me. And then the next day, I relisted them with make an offer, and I got an offer of $300. So finally, it sold for the price I wanted. So these sold for $300. This is a very cool wool green and black buffalo plaid zero text shirt, and it sold for $36.99. This is a Kohler bright brass. I don't know if you can see, it says Kohler on it. And it's brand new, bright brass. It does not have the box. But I sold this on Amazon for $59. This is a lovely vintage universal coffee-matic percolator. The glass top, shiny chrome. It sold for $40 on Bonanza. This is a big old stoneware bowl. Oh, it's heavy. Look. It weighs almost 5 pounds just by itself. And you can see the company name is Roseville Pottery, from Roseville, Ohio. Now, it is not the Roseville, the other Roseville Pottery. This is a different company than other pottery marked Roseville. But this bowl sold for $30 on our new store. This is a set of 4 casters, or rubber wheels with ball bearings. They have a cool kind of oil-rubbed bronze copper look. And we were building our clothing shelves downstairs, and we went to buy casters, and they were really expensive. So I knew that they went for a good price. So I put $50 on these, and they sold. So if you ever see sets like this, they can go for a lot of money. So $50 for these. This is a set of 11 random golf markers. I never thought these were anything until I sold a little golf marker from, I think it was Tiger Woods' first U.S. Open that he won. And I sold it overnight for like $50. It looked like one of these things. It might have just been the thing inside, I forget. But so now I always look for these, and this is a set of 11. I got them for $1 at a yard sale, and I sold them for $60. It's kind of amazing. And it sold in our new store. This is a laptop bag / purse. The brand is called Handbag of Holding, and inside it says Think Geek. So it's a couple different brands all together. There's this big ass thing. And it's pretty much unused, and it sold for $40 on our new store. This is a vintage 1968 Royal London purse. And it's got this cool crest on the front. And somewhere there's a date on it that says 1968. It's velvet lined. Super cool. It sold for $30. This is about 5 yards of a vintage, kind of a crepe. It's quite thin but stretchy floral fabric. It's very pretty. And it sold for $40. Another lot of WearGuard shirts sold. This is a lot of large. There's 4 of them, and they sold for $30. This is a vintage bag for a bike. It's called Kangaroo Bags, and I believe this goes on the front handlebars. It's kind of rough, but it's definitely vintage, 70s or 80s. Made in Santa Barbara, California. And it sold for $50 on our new store. This is a lot of 30 artist brushes. I do believe we showed this in our last video. We had taken that video about a month or so ago. And since then, we've listed them and we sold them for a best offer of $42 on the new store. This is a genuine Hoover part for a vacuum cleaner. I do believe it's a vintage vacuum cleaner. It has the info right there, which is very helpful. I bought 3 of these, and Jay was just like, whatever, this is ridiculous. However, I have sold each of these. I think I bought them for like 50 cents to $1 each. I've sold each of these for $37. That is about $100 that I made off these. So haha, Jay. These are a pair of very shiny brass bookends, and I've had these for a long time. I would say between 2 to 3 years, honestly. But they sold for the full price of $60. This is part of that lot we bought of different cop stuff for, walkie-talkies, radios. So this is a clip for one of those radios. It's a Motorola, it's leather, and it sold for $10. This is a fabric remnant from the Pendleton warehouse. We were there a couple of years ago, and we bought a bunch of remnants. We bought a huge bag of remnants for, I think it was $90 total. Just tons and tons of pieces like this. And this sold for $50 in the global shipping program. This is an Apple keyboard. I've sold these before. It has the numeric pad, which is lovely. I'm not going to attempt to unwrap this. But it sold for $20. Global shipping program. This is a 1930s National Call Art Deco alarm clock. Beautiful. It does not work. We could not figure out how to get it to work. This is for someone who wants to either fix it or just put it on a mantle and have it look cool. If it did work, it'd be worth a lot more, but I sold it for $25 on the global shipping program. This is a Marantz tape recorder and player. These are, from the 80s and 90s. They're professional grade. It does work. When I was in college, these were the tape recorders we used to use, and they're quite nice. So this one sold for $50. This is a beautiful Hansgrohe Tub Diverter in chrome. Thing is heavy as hell. Totally beautiful. Weighs about 2.5 pounds all by itself. And this sold on Amazon for $100. This is a new in-the-box Teak Trivet Set. As you can see, it's definitely from the 80s. There's a square one and a round one. And I actually see it's made by Kmart, which is kind of funny. But they are new in the box, and this sold for $37 on our new store. This is a Motorola microphone for a walkie-talkie or like a cop radio. As I said before, we got a bunch of this stuff. There was just a handful of different pieces, and this piece sold for $25. Okay, this is the artist. I believe his name is Bill Kilbin, and he does cat art, and I found these new sealed. I do believe they're from like 1988. They're Valentines. They're super cute if you like this kind of thing. I had these originally up for $50 because people collect him and stuff like that. So I got an offer of $20. I countered. Then I got an offer of $25 and I countered. And we finally settled at $30. So this was just, on a shelf. I probably paid 50 cents for it at a thrift store, and it sold for $30. These are a pair of Polaroid instant cameras, which I sell all the time and have been selling consistently since we started. These cameras, however, were not working properly. One of them, the flash wouldn't work, and one of them, this thing was loose. Like every time I open it up, it gets all loose and weird. So I sold them as parts, and I was hoping that someone from the Impossible Project would buy them. Now, the Impossible Project is a company in New York, and they refurbish and sell Polaroid cameras, and they are the only people who make Polaroid instant film for the 600 and the SX70, which are two different Polaroid cameras. I think Polaroid has maybe started making cameras again. I'm not sure. I have to research it. But the cool thing is I put these up for $20 as is for parts, and the Impossible Project did buy them. So it is worth it to get Polaroids, even if they're broken and cheap. Hopefully you got them for, next to nothing, because people like the Impossible Project do buy them. This is a necklace that I got at an estate sale. I was very, very, very excited because I thought it might be Bakelite. But I looked closely and realized that these are glazed ceramic beads. But they look like that butterscotch Bakelite, so they're quite beautiful. So I had this up for really, really high because this is a look that people are looking for right now. I had $300 on this. But I got an offer of $150, and I was like, yep. So I'm hoping that someone is not confused that these are ceramic. I made it very, very clear in many places in the listing that these are glazed ceramic beads. And I'm thrilled to get $150 for it. That's an amazing price for a necklace. This is a Conair vintage new in the box Pro style hairdryer. You can see it's totally from the 80s. And what was so funny was there was a price tag from a department store called Zayre, which if you grew up in New England, or I guess maybe just Massachusetts, I'm not sure. That's where Zayre was. So this person maybe was from Massachusetts, because I remember going to Zayre in Dedham, Mass. when I was little. But this sold for $30 on our new store. The only thing is you have to be careful with hair dryers. Like Conair seems to be okay, but anytime I put up a Vidal Sassoon vintage hairdryer, like the brown ones, they get taken down because they were recalled at some point. Or one model was recalled and eBay just keeps taking all of them down. So I'm not quite sure the best place to sell those. If you can sell them at all, maybe put them on Bonanza. We tested them. They seemed okay. So just be careful of that. This is a Scrubs top. It is a jacket or a long sleeve shirt. And it's got this really cool pattern on it. This kind of like Japanese geisha pattern, which is just cool. And it sold for $36.99. Okay, another Motorola little walkie-talkie radio mic sold, again, for $25. This is the last one I have. The rest of the stuff I have are leather holders for the actual radios. So this is a good lot. 25 bucks. This is a vintage wooden flower canister that we've had forever, and it's quite big, and it's taking up a lot of room in storage. So we took an offer of $11 on this, and I actually had to open an unpaid item case against someone, this person, because they just would not pay and they would not respond, and then finally they just paid 11 bucks, so I'm happy to see it go. This is a vintage trucker hat. You can see it's discolored, but it's got an awesome patch, and it's sold to someone for $25. Now you guys know that I love to sell glasses. They're fun to find and they're fun to sell. These are really nice quality. They're very thick, like a lucite or whatever kind of material that is that they make glasses out of. It's made in France, and it's probably from the 70s or 80s. The lenses are very high prescription, so when I tried them on, I couldn't see anything. They were completely blurry. But if I had to wear glasses, I would want to wear glasses that looked like this. Now, these glasses sold for $80. I'm pretty sure I had make offer on them. This person did not make an offer, so these sold outright for $80. I'm assuming they're going to replace the lenses with either sunglasses or their own prescription. That's it for this week. See you next week. Bye.